guest is the driving force behind the voiceover division of the LA-based talent agency Coast to Coast Talent Group. Her clients can be heard in national campaigns, TV shows for Disney and Nickelodeon, animated films like Up and Wreck-It Ralph, and video games like Assassin's Creed and Halo. She is amazing, and we are so happy to get buzzed with Portia Scott-Hicks.
Portia Scott-Hicks.
Hey, all right. Fabulous.
Welcome to VO Buzz. She was actually buzzed before she got here, but now she's getting more buzzed.
Don't tell anyone.
Oh, so glad that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
I know. I can't believe you guys got to know this. Okay, so Portia and I have been having communications here via email and phone and all stuff for years, and we've never really had the pleasure to sit down and just chat as buddies, which we are today. And I am so excited about that. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming here to share it with Stacey and I and with all our cool buddies out there.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. I got to figure it out there.
Yeah, you do. I'm gonna get right in here and I'm gonna read this because it's a little. You have a BA and an MA in theater.
Yes,
right?
That's correct.
And how did you go? How did you get from performing to being a voiceover agent?
Well, good question. So I lived in New York, at the Law Theater in New York, which is amazing and great and awesome. And so I came back to Los Angeles, and I was like, okay, I've got all these wonderful, I worked with Joe Papp at the Public, wonderful places, you know, Shakespeare in the Park, and I'm like, oh, I'm coming back to LA, fabulous. I went in to meet agents, and they were like, yeah, so.
Oh.
Yeah, so no, New York just didn't, they could care less. They were basically, well, you can at least have an under 5 or something like that. And I'm like, wow. Okay, so I went about, sort of going after it, and a college friend of mine, we put together a one-woman show, and I thought, okay, well, forget it. This auditioning and going around and, I'm the DMV clerk today on the soap. I'm like, really? I've done a Shakespeare. Really? So I had, I just had a little bit more attitude about it, and the hustle I really wasn't crazy about, but I thought I'd try it, and I did a one-woman show, and we did that, and we put it up, and it basically changed the entire course of my life. I was like, okay, and then I was working at Universal in development at the time, and a producer had asked me, he said, well, would you like to come and work for me? And I thought, oh, okay, I'll try it. And so I just sort of did that. I worked in development, worked with an independent producer, and then a casting opportunity came up, and I was like, oh, really? Okay, let's give this a try. And it was early reality, in a sense. It was Franklin Waterman show, Could It Be a Miracle, it was called. And so they were just like, all of these dreams were written about, and then they would reenact the dreams, And so that put me on a casting journey, and then from there an agent opportunity showed up. Literally, the position was to work as commercial agent and run the voiceover. Now, I hadn't
on-camera commercial.
On-camera commercial and voiceover, yeah. And I hadn't really run a voiceover session, but I'm like, I'm an actor, right? Duh, how hard can it be? And I was like, oh my God, peanut butter and chocolate! Oh, it's excellent! So I just, working with the actors, breaking it down, having them do it was a perfect fit. Perfect fit.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how it happened.
Well, now, true or false, you are in the booth at Coast to Coast running.
Yes.
Okay, so how is your background as a performer informing those actors, and what do you notice?
Well, I think that based on how my experience and my response back from the actors, I'm really an actor's director.
Right.
Because I really do come at it from a point of view as an actor, because that's my orientation. That's my background and so forth. So I enjoy that part because I can sort of, particularly in the animation arena, commercial is very different.
Right.
That's a whole other hat.
Right.
But in the animation arena, the opportunity to really, do character discovery and do it acutely, because we have to, right? And to be able to just at least have some shingles to hang some notes onto, to be able to at least deliver the read. Because in the first round of auditions, animation, we're really winning the callback.
Right.
So we're really winning the callback.
Well, what do you think are some the most common missteps actors make in auditions?